Recently, there's been discussion of building a 6-foot wide boardwalk along the bay.
Lucky for us, Madison, Eric, and Steve have some more information.
Hi, I'm Eric Simonson, Councilman for Ward 3 in Lower Township, to talk a little bit about the boardwalk project in North Cape May along the bay. First, the design of the project is a 6-foot wide cement walkway along the dune side of the bay drive, or beach drive. It will have a curb and also have handicap access ramps throughout to make it easier for those coming to and from the bay, as well as those to enhance the experience of pet lovers and those that like to go for walks or jogs. At this point, there needs to be road work anyway. The dune side of that roadway is sinking at the present time, and there needs to be some infrastructural changes developed in the near future to fix the roadway. And the Recreation Advisory Board of Lower Township took this project on several years ago in order to improve the bay access as well as to improve the roadway there along the bay. As an avid cyclist, I can tell you that it is definitely going to help the experience of those that exercise or, like I said, pet lovers along the way. There will be a 12-foot wide lane, both north and south, and then on the dune side will be, like I said, a 6-foot walkway from Douglas Park north. One of the safety issues along the bay there is that there's a lot of pedestrian traffic. There will be pedestrian walkways to cross from one side to the other. And again, traffic gets pretty thick in the summertime, so it is obviously a vision of the rec board to help with pedestrians both crossing the street to get to the bay and those that walk along the bay. As far as the importance of the walkway, like I mentioned earlier, the roadway is in need of repair anyway, where it is sinking on the dune side, and this would obviously enhance that. It will not affect the dunes, at least all the research that has been done and the permits that have been granted, as well as the Department of Environmental Protection. There will be sand added to the dunes, so in essence, this will actually strengthen the dunes along that pathway. In my opinion, I believe it will enhance the overall atmosphere of the bay community. It will add a place where people can stay out of the street and walk their pets, walk with their families, have access to and from the bay during not just the summer months but year-round. It will also help with cycling traffic and obviously with car traffic in general. Some of the misconceptions and some of the misinformation are that there are going to be other things added. At this particular time, the only project in question is the 6-foot wide cement walkway, which some deem the boardwalk, and there will be trash cans along the way. It will be maintained by the Public Works Department as far as sand and litter. We hope to have obviously litter signs and pedestrian walkway signs to help with foot traffic as well as car traffic. At this time, the time frame is in question due to grant permits and timelines. There will be a meeting held in the near future for residents to express their concerns. As we picture the overall view of this walkway along the bay, it's going to enhance everyone's experience, those that have lived here their whole lives like myself, as well as those that just come down for a weekend. You know, our motto at Lower Township here is a place to remember, and this is something that's going to add to that. When you walk along that boardwalk or that walkway and see the sunsets and the bay and the people just having a good time, Lower Township will be a place to remember.
Good morning, I'm Steve Morey. I'm a resident of Lower Township, a member of the Lower Township Recreation Advisory Board, and I'm an environmental consultant for Hatchmont McDonald. I'm here this morning to talk to you about the Beach Drive, Shore Drive public access improvements. This project, the Beach Drive and Shore Drive public access improvements was an informal discussion within the rec board and the recreation director at the time, Zach Zelwak, probably 5 or 6 years ago. So, we noticed these things were happening more often than not along the beach, and we sort of came up with an idea of putting a beach access there, a sidewalk. What we did was we then contacted the DEP, and in August of 2011, Mike Vole, myself, Mitch, and Gary Douglas met with the DEP to talk about beach access and improving the public access along the Delaware Bay. The DEP walked along the whole site with us. They saw the problems. They saw the drainage issues where the stormwater is eroding the beach, where beach accesses are being washed out in a couple places where the sand is coming on the street. And they loved the project. They positively gave us a good recommendation to go forward with the project. It was submitted in April of 2013, and we finally got our approval in January of 2014. In the meantime, the township didn't receive their initial DOT grant because we didn't have the CAFRA permit, so they resubmitted the application this September, and we're still waiting for that grant to come through, and we're hoping that we'll be successful now since we have a CAFRA application. We've had some citizens that are concerned about, that have looked at the plans and I believe are sort of misreading the plans, which show a limit of disturbance that can encroach onto the dunes as much as 50 or 60 feet in the first 850 feet of the project. The sidewalk is within the public right-of-way. Again, the dunes are encroaching into the public right-of-way and into the physical roadway itself, as you saw in the earlier photographs. How we worked with the DEP was we decided that what we would do is take the sand and push the sand at its initial location, regrade the sand at a 1 to 3 slope, and just push it over the dune and push it down the other side of the dune. So there'll be a nice 3 to 1 slope from the sidewalk to the top of the existing dunes. We're not raising the dunes or lowering the dunes, but we're going to take the sand that's encroaching onto the streets and where the sidewalks to be constructed, and we're just going to push that over and grade it over onto the other side of the dune. Now here's a photograph of how wide the dunes are in this area. The dunes are over 120 feet, 140 feet wide between the primary dune and the secondary dune. The grading of the dune along the roadway will just take the sand and it'll just create an additional slope on the base side of this existing dune. By the time it reaches the existing grade with the same sand that we took away, it should end somewhere in the middle of this whole dune complex. No sand is going to be graded onto the beach. It's all to remain inside the secondary dune complex. So no sand will be lost at all on the project. In fact, we're enhancing the dunes because we're going to be pushing the sand over. And in the northern part of the project, we are going to be bringing sand in to supplement the dune at that end where the sidewalk, where we have less dune there, we're actually going to be bringing sand in and supplementing the dune. And the DEP thought this was a good idea. Originally, and some of the confusion is the original plan was to take the surplus sand at the south end, and to save the township money, we planned on or proposed to take that surplus sand that was taken off the road and move it to the north end and keep a balance of sand within the same system. But the DEP felt that it would be better to supplement the dunes and actually asked us to bring additional sand in on the north end to supplement that deficiency of sand at the north end at the town bank area. And I know that we've had some citizens come by and say we'd like to have the dunes supplemented, and we're explaining to them that the dunes will be enhanced there. We are bringing some sand in to make it safer and less steep on the beach access ways. So, and I know there's been some concern also with some of the residents about dune protection and flood hazard protection. And again, this is a photograph the day after Superstorm Sandy, and you can see that the dunes, although down by the beach they were scarped out, the actual dune system in the back of the primary dune and the secondary dune up by the road were untouched. None of the vegetation was flooded, the water didn't reach that elevation, and these dunes are pretty much untouched after Superstorm Sandy. This is a picture at Beach Drive, again untouched. by any flooding, and that was one of the worst Atlantic storms we've had in our history. And the elevation of the roadway is above the 100-year storm elevation, and again, we're not destroying any dunes. We're actually taking the same amount of sand and we're just moving it and regrading the dunes, so there'll be no loss of dune at this project at all. I am happy to talk about our last Recreation Advisory Board meeting. We had 25 to 30 members of the public come out to our meeting. We gave them an opportunity to provide their public comment. They had a lot of questions about how the project came about. We were able to discuss that with them. They had some misinformation that has been being spread around the township. We were able to talk about the project as I did this morning, and a lot of people were satisfied that we gave them good answers, and they now have a better understanding of the project and seem pretty positive, as at the end of the meeting, the public and the Recreation Advisory Board felt pretty good about our discussions. So we're hoping that we can have a successful project, we can get the grant funding that the township has applied for, and we can move ahead with this project and have a nice beachfront that we can be proud of for our residents and our visitors alike.
Good morning. My name is Jim Neville. I'm the councilman in Ward 2, and I'm here today to talk about the Beach Drive, Sewer Drive access plan. It's going to be a 6-foot concrete sidewalk that is going to also make sure that the roadway is 12 feet wide. The advantages of this project are safety mostly and enhancement of the area. The safety factor comes in when you look at the fact that the beaches are being used by a lot more people in the summertime. As a family would come up over the dune, the first person that leaves the sand area actually steps into the pathway of any vehicle that be coming. So if there was a sidewalk there first, it makes for a much safer egress and entry onto the beach. This project, it has some people that live in the area not that happy about basically the amount of people that could be using it. They don't really want to have more and more people see the hidden jewel that we have of a sunset on the beach. It's not available from Wildwood Crest or Stone Harbor or any of the other island communities. So it's really a regional opportunity for people to come and enjoy a sunset, take a bike ride, take a walk, because this 1.5 mile stretch is probably the only part of Cape May County where people can come and access via a vehicle the area where then they could watch a sunset or walk. If you go further north, beyond Coxhall Creek, all those properties privately owned, and there's no access for a resident of anywhere other than those that own that property to see a sunset. What we're trying to do is ask the county, Open Space Fund, and that's exactly what this is for. All of the taxpayers of Lower put into this fund, and the ability to have a regional, that is, as far as everybody in the county being able to use it, opportunity to have a recreational situation or opportunity, that is what we're trying to ask for, the county to provide. Earlier engineer estimates had it about $900,000. Now, if they're 2 years old and we need to actually ask for more, we will. Our grant coordinator, Colleen Crippen, she is the one that is putting together the request to the county, and what we're trying to do first, though, is to hear all of the objections of the individuals in the area and listen to them. Because what happened was the plan started probably in 2010, and Wayne Mazurk was actually the councilman then. Eric Simonson was councilman in Ward 2 in 2011 when this project was brought to the rec board. And it was paid for engineering-wise while Walt Craig was in Ward 2 seat. I'm now sitting in that seat. I support it 100% because of the safety factor. Also, the places in Town Bank where there's dips and swales in the road, those will all be fixed. And that's approximately a mile of new road because they have to get rid of the erosion that happened in the road, causing the dips and swales, which make that dangerous because it'll have to be flush to sit with a 6-foot wide sidewalk. And once again, there's nothing more than a 6-foot wide sidewalk going there. No piers, no restaurants, no bathrooms. There's a lot of misinformation out there that has a lot of people really upset, and I can understand that. But the truth of the matter is, the whole project is a 6-foot wide sidewalk, the length of 1.5 miles. The sand that will be moved back will not encroach on anything. It will not hurt the wildlife. There will actually have to be sand added on the north end. So it will enhance the area. And the safety factor, you can't overcome that. People, as they use the beach, will have a much safer access and egress, and it'll be ADA, American with Disability Act, so somebody in a wheelchair could use that. And that is what we're trying to accomplish with this project. I just believe that a lot of the people did not have the opportunity to voice their concerns and opinions. So we are going to have a meeting on May 31st, a Saturday, at Town Hall, 10 o'clock. That will be confirmed by a newspaper article in the Star and Wave, in the Herald. We'll post it on the township website, and we will personally contact every one of the individuals that has come to town council or the rec board and given their objections. We want to hear them, and then we will decide whether we ask the county for the money to complete the project.